Welcome to Soul Over It, the podcast where science meets spirituality. Get ready to explore the hidden truths of health optimization, wellness, spirituality, and empowerment. We are your hosts, Taylor and Abby Scarpello. Let's dive in.
On today's episode, Taylor and Abby discuss the toxic pressure society places on us in order to be perfect. It is so often that we get caught up in the pressure, we lose track of who we are, and we are so over it.
We have microphones! Welcome, guys, to another episode of Soul Over It. We are so excited to talk about this topic because we're so over it. We are so over the pressure that society has been placing upon us, and it's been toxic, it's frustrating, and yeah, we're done.
We're done. It's just been something that's honestly like a continuous loop that you feel like you can't get out of, but we're done. We'll put that behind us, and we're going to share with you how we did so.
Exactly, or how we are doing so.
True.
Because we didn't get there yet.
Yeah.
But we're making our way. And we are taking you guys along with us for the ride, for the journey, and let's get into it. So I don't know about you, Ab, but my entire Instagram feed, my Facebook feed, I know you guys may say I'm a little old, but yes, I do still use Facebook. And I wouldn't say TikTok so much, but I would say definitely Instagram and Facebook. My entire feed is engagements, weddings, and now pregnancies. Everyone my age is either getting engaged, getting married, or now having babies.
Well, you're not alone because my Instagram feed, is the same thing. Engagement after engagement after engagement. And it's like the people that we went to school with.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That we grew up with.
And two of my friends are now engaged, and that blows my mind. Like, I'm so happy for them. I am. Like, I can't wait to celebrate them and just celebrate the love that they have for their partners. I'm so excited for them. But it's like, not gonna lie, it's like, oh wait, should I be there? Why? Well, what is going on? It puts a little
damper on your dime.
Yeah.
You know what?
Always coming up with something.
You never know what you're gonna get. But no, I feel that too. And especially, I would say even just a few weeks ago when we were coming back from Florida, we were in the cab and the taxi driver asked us how old we are. We were just chatting about life and where we are, where we're at. And I said, yeah, I'm 27. And he goes, shouldn't you be married already?
No.
I'm like, thank you. As if I don't remind myself every day of that just crossing my mind.
But it's like, why do they care? Why is it their like first question when you say how old you are? Oh, but are you married, or should you be married, or are you even in a relationship? Like, why does that matter?
The next answer I give them why is do you have like Mr. Right behind you? I don't know. And it gets very frustrating time after time because I'm seeing it on Instagram, seeing it on social media, and then I'm just trying to go about my day. And again, it smacks you in the face. And I've been single for quite some time, and we're going to be coming up on 9 years. However, I have dated in between those 9 years, but still Mr. Right hasn't shown up, and it can get very frustrating. And then those self-doubts start to creep in. Where did I do enough work on myself? And I'm constantly reading books, doing healing on myself, going to other healers just to continue to clear any trauma, generational trauma, or anything that has been holding me back, so that when I do step into that relationship, I'm already that best version of myself. And then also, I don't want to be carrying that into the relationship along with carrying it into my family when I do have children, where I have been so focused on myself and also just healing over the last couple of years, and I feel that every couple years or every couple months a new thing has happened where it's okay, let's dive a little deeper, let's clear this so that you can overcome it.
Yeah. And it's like we're constantly doing the work. And I mean, more so you in a way, just because you have been single for longer than I have. And it's like you constantly grow. Something comes up, I'm gonna work through that. And you do. And it's like, I don't think it's, oh, I've been single so long, there's no one out there for me. No, it's
No,
not that. It's that guy has to match that
energetic,
energy. It's
exactly,
like it's like whoever you were supposed to meet at one point, no, he wasn't good enough because he didn't match the energy because
exactly.
you already grew.
And I surpassed that
Exactly.
because as a theta healer, you have access to theta healing 24/7. And what I mean by that, there are times where I wake up in the middle of the night to clear, not on myself, but there's things in the room. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to clear this visitor. Got to do what you got to do so that I could have a good night's sleep. Not the point. But as things start to happen, I can constantly continue to grow, which is a beautiful gift. And the person that I do want to be with, or whoever that person is, I just pray that he is also in alignment with me, as well as he's also doing the work so that we can be in alignment together and then continue to grow together as well.
Yeah, and I think he will be because I mean, you're not gonna like
Oh,
go
no.
for a guy who's not doing the work.
Oh,
Like
absolutely
you're not
not.
gonna
No.
just match well with that.
No.
No. So it's like whoever comes into your life, he is going to be like, no, I worked through this trauma. I've done this. I maybe he's been single for as long as you've been single. You know, we don't know. We don't know who
You
this
don't
guy
know.
is. But when he does come into your life, I think it'll be a good energetic
I think
match.
so too.
Anyways, going back to the pressure. Well, when you are experiencing this pressure, it is very lonely
Absolutely.
because you're constantly comparing yourself. You're constantly thinking, "Oh, should I be in that stage of or phase of life?" And you're like, "What's wrong with me?" You know, you just kind of your mind can just really
It's
take a
a
toll and
spiral.
spiral.
And that's how the subconscious mind works, where you can get lost in that spiral. However, there's ways to change that and to shift your neural pathways and also your thinking so that you can shift from that negative standpoint into a positive. And I think that's where theta healing really does come in. And that's one modality that is great for shifting your thoughts, as well as someone, or even just using affirmations is another way. EFT tapping, these are just little tips, and we'll get into all of those, but these are just some practices that we use on a day-to-day life or within our day-to-day routine. And I would say the pressure, it really stems from childhood and within our environment when we are raised. So when we're growing up, I don't know if we spoke about this in previous episodes, but just in case we didn't, when we are between the ages of 0 to 7, how the brain works, we are in a theta brainwave state. So we are soaking up all of the information that we're being exposed to, whether it be through friends, family, the environment that we're raised in, society. So whatever we're being exposed to, our mind and our subconscious is just absorbing it all, just like a sponge. So it really goes to show that we only know what we are either taught, what we see, and what we're given. So now as our adult life starts to unfold, we find ourselves within these same patterns. So I know when I was younger, I grew up as a competitive figure skater, and we were constantly compared to our peers, the others that are on the ice, whether it be, oh, look how Samantha can do an axle. Watch her so that you know
The right and best way to do an axle and the prettiest way.
to do the
Yeah.
axle, or oh, look how beautiful her dress is, you need a dress just like hers from that exact same designer, but maybe the fit doesn't necessarily fit my body type.
Or your just personality. You're two
Exactly.
completely different people.
Exactly. And so when you are in that theta brainwave state, or when you're growing up and you're being exposed to these different ways that society places the pressure upon you, it's going to unfold as you start to become an adult or grow older.
Yeah. What are some ways that,
That pressure
yeah,
has been placed upon
yeah,
me from when I was
yeah.
younger.
And like, how does it relate to now?
I would say there's a few things that do come to mind. Definitely from skating, absolutely. Where I started skating when I was 6 years old and started with group lessons. And you could be in a group of one all the way to 13, 14, 15 students. So you're constantly comparing yourself, not realizing it as a child. However, once you go from group lessons into your private lessons, coaches, and this is something that I would say it definitely happens in all sports. And it's something that's just common when you have 20 girls or 20 students on the ice all skating. You're always going to be watching others and seeing, oh, wow, so and so does her Lutz so much better than me. But a little bit more specific is that when I was in one-on-ones, I remember coaches, they would have us watch other students or other skaters do certain jumps where they were a little bit better than you and say, "Oh, watch Abby do her triple lutz. Watch Emily do her loop." So that you could also mimic the exact same way that she did her axel, her loop, her lutz, or her moves in the field. So there was always that comparison across skaters or across peers. And I remember even my spin coach at the time, they would always videotape you so that you could also watch the playback of your spins, your jumps, your moves in the field, just so that you know what you're doing wrong so that you could also correct it, which is a great way to know that, oh, okay, the coach is seeing it from this point of view. I understand when you are making the corrections, which is it's a great way to make those connections. However, I do remember coaches pulling up film from other students and say, "Oh, look at James do his camel spin." And maybe I was missing the entrance of the spin a little bit. So she would put it in slow mo so that you could really dig into the ice and you could hit your one edge a little bit smoother. That way you could really pick up speed and momentum. And again, it's great. However, there's still that comparison method. And as a child, if you are just within that state later on in life, you start to create those patterns again subconsciously where you don't even realize, oh, maybe Abby does her lipstick a little bit different than me, and let me compare it to how I do. Oh, wait, let me just watch her put her makeup on or her eyeshadow. And then you start to adapt to that when in reality you should really become your own skater, your own makeup artist, your own student, and learn how to become a person
On your
on
own.
your own
Yeah.
instead of continuously comparing yourself to others.
Yeah. And there are ways to go about it where you are learning from the peers or people that are older than you or people that are maybe advanced than you. There are ways to learn and like, but it's also like how maybe the teacher, the coach goes about it, that it's learning rather than comparing.
Exactly. And I would say it definitely puts a lot of pressure on you as a skater or as a student, depending upon which area you're in. But I know as a skater, I remember certain jumps I didn't have by the time I was 13, 14, 15, where I was still working on certain skills. And as an individual, I started to put a lot more pressure on
Mm-hmm.
myself where why am I not good enough? Maybe it's because I'm not taking lessons with this coach, or that girl spends a lot more time on the ice doing certain moves in the field. But I also want to have a balance. I want to have friends
And a
where
normal
and
teenage or childhood, just normal
be
life.
able to enjoy high school and time with my friends, go to football games, but also show up to practice. So that was also, I would say, a big challenge as well, because I didn't have rink friends. I just showed up to the ice rink, I skated, I did what I had to do, and I left. Where there were girls that the only friends they had were the girls at the ice rink. I had my friends, I had my social life. I spent time going to football games in high school, and we're going to the mall where we would go to the mall, shop, and then have dinner at Grand Lux or Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, exactly. And well, how does that relate to you now? Like comparing to like you still being single to seeing everyone getting married.
I would say I've definitely have done a lot of healing on that. However, when you're constantly bombarded with it, that's where it gives you that opportunity to spiral and question yourself where, why am I not good enough? Why have I not met that person? What's wrong with me? So again, it does give you that opportunity to bring up past trauma from skating or even school with going through different friendships, transferring from one school to another. So it definitely can bring up stuff to the surface. However, it's up to me in that moment where I can either spiral and say, yeah, maybe I'm not good enough, and start to hone in on that, or shift my mind into a positive way and say, I am focusing on my career right now so that Abby and I can build an incredible, successful business. We get the opportunity to podcast. We get to make all these great connections. And hey, maybe through podcasting, we'll be able to make that connection. And hey, maybe the next person we interview will be my person. So it's learning how to shift from the negative into the positive. Is it easy? Absolutely not. And it just goes to show, energy wise, negative energy is always going to attract and be stronger than positive energy. Where I guess consciously positive seems like it can be stronger. However, the darkness is always going to attract the darkness, and it's up to you to follow the light.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, like when I saw my friends getting engaged and I see all the other people on my Instagram feed getting engaged, like it in a way it just blows my mind because it's like I'm only 24 years old and I'm like I think that's young. Like I
Absolutely.
mean, I'm pretty young. Sometimes I still feel 16, but and it's like for me, I look at myself and I've been single for like a year now and I couldn't even imagine getting engaged either now or like a year ago where and I was in a relationship for 3 years where that's where that relationship would have headed if we were still together. However, now that I'm single, I'm like, wow, like I can't imagine that. But then when I look at my friend where been in a relationship for not even 2 years and they're already engaged, I'm like, wow, like that just blows my mind. The realization which helped me was she's in a completely different stage of life where she's in her career. She finished her schooling up for now and she's living with her now fiance and she's like almost quote unquote settled down
Mhm.
where me I'm just at the beginning where like I'm just building
We're just
so
getting
like
started.
so like I can't even fathom a relationship right now. Like I'm still doing so much work on myself but also so much work on what we have
What
and
we're
what we're building.
Exactly. And I think that also goes to show, one, you have to stay in your lane, and two, put your attention where it matters to you the most and what's going to make you, your mind, and your heart, and your soul happy. And if putting your attention into seeking love or seeking that external love in a partner, if that's going to make you happy, by all means, go for it, go do it in a healthy way, because there are ways that people can get lost in that in a very unhealthy way where it ends up being that chase. Or you can put your attention into your career, into community, into the relationships that you do have, building upon those. But also you can step out of your comfort zone to grow. And if you want to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone regardless, whether it be to build relationships, to build a business, or to heal yourself.
No, exactly. You don't grow where you're comfortable. You just don't.
You don't.
Like you if you're comfortable in this little circle that you're in, you're going to stay the same person. But it's also like with the whole pressure, it's having this separation where this is their life, this is what they have going on, and then this is your life. And you can't let it affect each other. You can have certain emotions for them, you can have certain emotions for you, but when they start to like cross over, that's I feel like that's when the comparison happens.
That's what it does. And what emotions does that bring up for you when you do see maybe your friends getting engaged or the pressure from external sources?
Yeah, I think it could be like resentment
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not resenting my friends. I love my friends. Like we've been friends for like 10 years now. I love them. We support each other so much. However, like it could be resenting the life they have or the love they have. And like I don't resent my friends. However, I know for people that could be the case. Where but like for me it could be like I get down on myself where it's like, oh, and then it makes me think about my last relationship. It's like, oh, all the could haves, would have, should haves. But then I'm like, no, I don't even want that. Like, look how far I've come. Look how far I've grown. And it's like, I'm ready to just move forward and keep going forward.
Me too. And because I remember there was a girl in high school. I believe it was my senior year. We were all sitting at lunch, and this one girl goes, "Oh, in college, that's everyone goes to college, and that's where you meet your person." And when I was in college, I went through a breakup. A few months later, ended up meeting another person, and the way we met, it was just, I guess, looking back to what that girl said, it would have been perfect.
Mhm.
And did I see myself with this person? Yes, absolutely. However, there were actions on his part that it did show me true colors that we were not in,
Not in the same place.
not in the same place, nor energetically aligned, which thankfully that was brought to my attention. However, going through the relationship, it put a lot of things into perspective where I think I did get lost in the fantasy of, wow, this is my person. The way we met, it's perfect. It's like how you meet in movies where I'll get into it. So my freshman year, first semester was awful. I went through a bad breakup, blew my back out, was taking my pre-med classes at the time, had awful roommates. So it was just one thing after another. And I thought I was going to transfer, come back home. I ended up not transferring, ended up going back to finish my second semester as a freshman at Ohio State. But I changed my major. And about a week before I was supposed to be going back to school, I had to redo my entire class schedule, all new classes, and I had to take this art class. And I showed up on the first day to the art class. It was pretty interesting. I believe in the third week of second semester classes, this guy walks in. I was like, oh, who is this? Kind of cute, little country. It's got some like dirty blonde hair, blue eyes. Hmm,
Your type.
we all have the time. However, and we had to do some project, and we had to take pictures of ourselves, and the professor was going all on and on and on about this project. And I was walking out of class, and I crossed paths with this guy, and we just kind of like made eye contact. I'm like, okay, whatever, and just couldn't get him off my mind. That following week, we ended up crossing paths again, and we started chatting. And I asked him, I was like, "Oh, I'm actually gonna go grab coffee. Do you want to come?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure." So then I was like, "Oh, okay." I was all excited. And then as we're walking, he's like, "Wait, I actually forgot my wallet. Why don't we grab dinner another night?" I'm like, "Sure." So then we exchanged numbers. And I think it was 2 or 3 days later, we ended up going to Panera.
Romantic.
So romantic. But we sat in Panera for 4 hours just talking. And it was one of the best dates I have ever went on. We just connected in a way that was just it just felt so real where I didn't know where the relationship was going, but I just knew this person was going to mean a lot to me. And we dated for a while back and forth. However, when I was home going through my whole Epstein Barr journey, he cheated on me
Oh
and
boy.
it broke me. It completely tore my heart into a million pieces. And the way I found out was I was home for blood work, 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm in the elevator with our dad, and I get a DM on Instagram from two people, but I only saw one DM. And it was from a mutual friend who he was friends with, I was trying to set up my roommate with.
Hmm.
And he had brought the cheating to my attention. And a few days prior to that, I also received a DM from the other girl, but I never saw it. And she told me what had been happening, and he completely fessed up to everything, along with some other addictive behaviors that I was not aware of at all. So I would say, going back to the pressure, there was a lot of pressure to meet your person in college, where the relationship that I thought I was in was something that I was so in love with, where I was completely blindsided by the fact that this person had addictive behaviors, had a lot of trauma that he was overlooking. But I did see it, and I was trying so hard to help him see that. He also had health issues that I was not aware of that later did unfold, which I also helped him through those as well. But there was a lot of pressure that I would say I put on myself to make that relationship work. And in the midst of that, I lost who I was. Where, yes, I did enjoy college. I had a great time going out with my friends. However, when we were not dating, the idea of, oh, we could still be together. We will be together. Oh, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. I held myself back and didn't allow myself to experience more of college, more social events. So I did put the pressure on myself
I
in
think,
that sense.
yeah, I think so many people can relate to that. I mean, I can. I entered a relationship when I was in college. Didn't meet in college because it was COVID. However, we started dating in 2020 and it was like as if it was meant to be. And we met at the Jersey Shore, and everyone's like, don't fall in love with the Jersey Shore. And I'm like, I'm going to prove them wrong.
You're that 1%.
Yes, I'm like, oh, we fell in love with the Jersey
What did
Shore.
Snooki teach you?
Apparently, nothing. Well, anyways, and we fell in love, and it was like we were each other's like other half. It was, it felt perfect. And from early on, it was like, oh, we thought we were going to be with each other from the beginning. But then I started seeing these patterns. And at first, I just kind of ignored them, and I'm like, oh, no, he'll come around, he'll be fine, he'll change. But then he didn't, obviously. They don't change.
As her mom would say, a leopard doesn't change its spots.
Exactly. And I got fed up, and I broke things off. However, like at points I still thought he was the one. Like I really thought, and I thought I wanted to get back together with him because I mean, it was like we had so much together, but I'm not with him. Don't worry. But there was pressure when we were in the relationship from so many people. Oh, is he the one? When are you going to get engaged? I had his dad calling me like his daughter. And it was like, whoa. Like even now his parents like think we're going to get married. So I had the pressure from them, from friends. It's like, and then all of a sudden you find yourself looking at engagement rings to get engaged to a person that you kind of, yeah, but it's like deep down, it's like you don't
You
know.
still have those feel the gut feeling of I don't think it's meant to be.
Exactly.
So take me back to how you felt when you knew that this person wasn't for you. However, all the people around you, they're like, "Oh, he's the one. You guys are going to get married." But deep down you knew. What did that feel like?
So when I kept hearing people like talking about, oh, you're gonna get married, you're this, and like in my mind, I would first say, yeah, but then I'd be like, I don't know. It was like this like, gut feeling that just didn't feel right, and it was like it was confusing. I mean, like
Absolutely.
I was confused because it's like, should I really be? Am I missing something? Am I not seeing what everyone else is seeing? Am I like what's going on? I think at the time maybe I didn't think I knew what a relationship should be like, but then I was like, oh, maybe this is what marriage is like, and it's just preparing me for marriage. But it's like, no, things are just going to escalate when you get married. If things that you don't like now in the relationship are just going to kind of become just magnified 10 times more when you're married. So,
Where
like, when I would hear all these opinions and questions and all this stuff, it's like I was just so confused, and it was almost like blindsided because I was convinced by these people that he was the one. But then when I had to really sit myself down and come to terms with everything, I was like, oh no, like I was right all along.
you're the one that makes the decision.
Yeah.
And when did you pinpoint that no, I am right. This needs to end. Was there a last straw that also
There were probably like five last straws. And I like, yeah, I mean, like this guy, I mean, he is a great guy. He's not my guy. He's not the one for me, but I'm sure for someone else he will be perfect. But it was like time after time he was choosing his friends and other people over me, and it was like, what's the priority? Because it was like he was my number one priority, where like I was maybe his fifth priority. And it was like, well, what's going on? It's like, if you say you love me, you say you want to marry me, then show me. He just wasn't living up to what he was saying. And the last straw was it was like a week before he went on a boys trip to Ireland that I was supposed to be on, that was more of just a couples trip, then turned into a boys trip. He went to another boys trip to a couple states away for the weekend to party. And I'm over here sitting at home like a loser saying what is going on? So it was like the day after he came home, I'm like, this is it. Like I can't take this anymore. But then he, of course, is a charmer. So he talked me into trying to make things work for another like month. But then I listened to my gut and I'm like, this isn't right. So then I ended it for good.
you chose yourself?
Yeah. And it felt so freeing when I did. Like I couldn't believe I did that because in that relationship and my relationship before that, it was so hard for me to use my voice and just to vocalize and communicate properly. So once I did that, I'm like, oh, this is nice. I feel good.
It's like I could do anything now.
Yeah, I just felt so good. I mean, but then like healing from the breakup was a whole other thing. But now a year later, I'm like, wow, I just feel so good.
And now coming up on that year mark fairly soon
Yeah.
in a few weeks, look how much you have grown over the last year where we were able to start the podcast where I don't think this was even something you would have never wanted
No.
to do.
A year ago, I didn't even see myself being like a healer and like seeing us have a studio and doing the things that we're doing now. Like a year ago, that I didn't think I could do it. But now I'm like, oh no, I could do
I
it.
could do this.
I found my voice and I'm using my voice.
You are to empower others
Yeah.
to help them overcome the same situations that you were in or that I was in, and we're able to do it together, which is even more powerful.
Yeah. Because not many people can.
Oh,
Not many people can sit next to their sibling for hours on hours and actually get along.
it's true.
But no, like we're each other's best friends, and it's like I wouldn't want it any other way.
It's true. Me too. Do you, as a sister, is there pressure?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think like growing up, I like yeah. I mean, I think there's always comparison placed on any sibling, um, especially. I mean, I don't know if you can agree, but the younger sibling, there's more pressure on the younger sibling. Maybe it's just different pressure.
I would say it's different because I think I know where this is
Yeah,
going.
because like the older sibling sets the stage,
Yes.
sets the tone, but the younger sibling is like, can you measure up?
Can you match it?
Yeah.
Where I feel that growing up, I would say there's definitely pressure to not necessarily to be perfect, but I would always joke around and say, "Oh, I'm the experiment." Where our parents would experiment with me, and then by the time you stepped up to the plate, they perfected it, whether it be me going off to college. And then when it was your turn to go to college, oh, the whole application process was perfected. Oh, yeah, I already know where I want to go. The process was a lot easier. So I would say with school, and then I would say with sports too.
Yeah.
There was also that pressure, or just that again, that experiment where, oh, Taylor got her first phone in 5th or 6th grade, but then when Abby got your first phone, you were much younger.
Not much, but
Not much, but similar.
yeah. But yeah, like there, I mean, as a younger sibling, I think it's like the pressure to do as well in school, to go to the same school. Is she going to go to the same high school? Is she going to go to like the same college or an equivalent college? Is she going to go to a better college? Like there's always that pressure, and
Is
it's
she
like,
better than me?
yeah, is the younger one better than the older one? Is she smarter? Is she more athletic? Like there's always that pressure. And I do think it's up to the parents to have that separation and not place the pressure on their
On their
kids.
children.
It's like Taylor is Taylor, Abby is Abby. They're two completely different people. If they happen to like the same sport, great. If they don't, great. If they happen to go to the same school, great. If they don't, great. Like there really should you should not compare a younger sibling and the older sibling. That just bothers me.
Me too. And I think our parents did a great way with raising us and keeping us individuals. Yes, there were a
Yeah.
few things that we did do similarly,
Yeah.
which we both skated. We did go to the same schools growing up. However, we did go to different colleges.
Yeah.
And you also became your own person. I became my own person. We had different friend groups, different interests, I would even say, where you love to bake. I'm like, I'll see you later.
It's not your forte.
It's not my forte at all. I'll see you in the gym and let me know when dinner's ready.
Seed oil free. No, exactly. Like we are, yes, we like the same things. Yes, we're both healers. Yes, we like have this business together. But again, we're individualized.
And I think because we work together, we recognize the differences between us where we can respect it in each other. However, our customers, our clients, our family, maybe even the audience doesn't recognize that.
Yeah.
Where everyone thinks we're twins.
Everyone.
And even as a twin, they're two completely different people.
Yeah,
they're two different genotypes, two different genetic makeups.
My two best friends are twins, and they are complete opposites. Like they're two different people. But it's like, even when we're in this business, it's like maybe they compare our modalities. They compare, oh, Taylor's a better health practitioner than Abby, or Abby's better than Taylor, or
Or Taylor's a theta healer. Abby, are you going to be a theta healer?
yeah, I've gotten that question asked millions of times, and it's like maybe one day, but right now I'm still discovering if that's my path.
Exactly. And the way that you see clients is a different way than I see clients. And I think that also needs to be said and addressed as well because we are two separate people.
And it's like because I'm the younger sibling, I look up to you as an example because it's like, okay, Taylor did this. It worked. Let me try it.
But I still have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
But to me, I'm like, oh, she's got it all figured out. So it's like that I place the pressure on myself. It's like, can I be as good as Taylor? Am I going to be a good enough healer as Taylor? That's also the pressure that I've put on myself. No one puts that on me. But it's like something that I'm healing through and I'm working through. And
And
it's like,
how are you working through that? Because I didn't even know that.
yeah, I think it's honestly just stepping into my power, just being more confident in myself. And I mean, that's like an ongoing thing, just finding more confidence in myself. It's like when we first started doing our sound baths, like I was very shy and like because it was our first time and that was my first time ever, I guess, doing like a healing modality like for
In
people.
that leader role.
Yes, because I've always been in like the client role. That was my first time being in the leadership role, which is was so new to me. And I'm like, oh, I don't like. I question myself like I don't know if I can do this because I got so anxious and I got so nervous. But then like the more I did it, the more validation I got, I guess, from people. It's like, oh my god, that was the most amazing sound bath ever. And I'm like,
Oh, thank
yeah,
God.
thank you. I'm like, oh,
I did
thank
it.
God I didn't trip over you. I didn't fall onto you.
I didn't drop my triangle on you.
But like I think it's just the more I do it, the more I step out of my comfort zone, the more confident I can be. And it's like, no, like I am a good healer. Like I know this works. And it's just trusting in that.
Trusting yourself.
Yeah.
That you can do it, that you are enough, you're good enough, you're worthy enough. And yeah, it is nerve-wracking
Yeah.
at times. However, when you're meant to be in a position, your body just knows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's again, we have to get out of our mind. We have to get out of that pressure that we do put on ourselves and just allow yourself to be and to do from the heart. That's when the beauty takes over. I remember when I first started coaching ice skating, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing.
Oh, me too.
I mean,
I had no idea.
You could take all the certification courses you want, but until you really step on the ice or do the thing, that's where you really learn. And I remember I was applying to a whole bunch of different ice rinks. I showed up to at Montclair State, and even though I coached in the past, this was a lot different. That was rec. This is full on USFSA, ISI,
like
the real deal.
Yeah.
So I was going to be taking on students, teaching one-on-one privates as well as learn to skate. And I had to go through a mini trial period. I had no idea what I was doing, but I trusted myself. I trusted my knowledge. And it really just comes back down to fake it till you make it.
That's true.
Fake it till you make it.
Honestly, though, like if you have to, like it'll work.
If you have I don't want to say, oh, if you have a good personality, just let it show off. No, but show up as that best version of yourself. Show up as the most authentic, raw version of you. And that's what people are going to fall in love with. Not your skills, not your experience. They are going to fall in love with you and your energy. And that's the golden ticket to life.
Amen. Honestly, though, like if you're not yourself, then it's like you're gonna don't try to be someone or something that you're not because maybe that's where the pressure comes from. I mean, just go back and think about when you were in school and you were trying so hard to get that A and like you when you were got your grades back and you're sitting next to your classmate and they got the A+ and you got a B and you're like, but I tried my best. Why am I not as good as so and so? Because that's just who you like. That's just who you are. Maybe your best is a B, and that's great. Like that's still amazing. Just
It is. And we have to get out of that comparison mindset. And today, I would say it's even more so of a challenge because of social
social
media,
media is the
because
worst.
of what we are constantly bombarded with, where children aren't even children anymore.
No,
They're growing up at such a fast rate where it's sad, but it's also sickening as
it
well.
is. It's so sad because when we were growing up, social media just started.
I
Like,
was a freshman in high
and
school
I was
when Instagram came out, and that was 2012.
yeah, I was 12, and back then Instagram was just so casual. It was
Because
like random, like just
you just post a random picture from
yeah,
Tumblr,
yeah, and no
like a
one could like
quote.
yeah, no one really cared what you posted. They liked it, they commented, but now it's like a 12-year-old who has an iPhone is looking at 22-year-olds and
With full faces and makeup on,
yeah, and
and
working out and
Botox.
Botox and the body image and the clothes they wear and the perfumes they use and all the products and this and that. And it's like, and they want to be like that, but
However,
they're 10 years
they're 10 years
apart.
old. However, a lot of the things that the 22-year-old is promoting, it's paid for.
Mm-hmm.
Where to a 10, 12, 13-year-old, they don't know that. They don't
No.
necessarily know all about the influencer marketing or just marketing in
Yeah.
general. So
So
of
they
course,
want it, and it's like they want to be like that 22-year-old, but you're still a
your
child. Like,
body hasn't matured yet.
no, you're still so young. And it's like at 12-year-olds, I was still playing with my American Girl dolls.
In my Polly Pockets.
And I had so much fun. I loved that. And I wish 12-year-olds now were still like that. They were still playing outside in the dirt and playing with dolls and but
Going on
it's
razor scooters.
yeah, like that was so much fun. But now there's so much pressure on them to look a certain way, to be a certain way, and it's so sad, honestly.
And I think change is upon us,
Yeah.
but it also starts with the parents as well, like you were saying before,
Mm-hmm.
where there are ways that parents can limit the exposure to their children being on social media, limiting what they even see,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be on TV, on social media, and also teaching them that, hey, maybe as a 10-year-old, you don't need makeup. You're beautiful just the way you are. And let's shift the focus from that lack mindset to a positive mindset.
Exactly. So, and it also starts when you're young. So, what are some tips that we can give listeners to not have that pressure and not really fall into that?
So I would say, because we did come up with it with a list of tips, but I think we're gonna also probably gonna add some
Yeah.
as well. So I would say, first and foremost, ask yourself if you are truly happy where you are right now. And if the answer is no, what can you do to change that? What can you do to step out of your comfort zone? Maybe it's joining a new yoga studio, joining a new gym,
Or
maybe.
getting out of that relationship because this question helped me realize that I wasn't happy. It helped me to move forward and become who I am.
Exactly. And it can be very challenging at first to recognize that, but it's so freeing once you take that leap.
Exactly. And then also, you want to just get to know yourself more. Just however that may be, date yourself or journal, meditate, whatever it is, just really get to know yourself. Try new things.
And don't be afraid to, so if you are journaling, don't be afraid to journal angry thoughts.
Oh yeah, please
Allow that stuff to come
do
up
that.
so that you're no longer carrying it Because if we continue to carry the guilt, the anger, the resentment, the feelings of rejection, all those heavier emotions, it's going to affect the body physically
Yeah, and you don't want that to manifest into something.
as a physical disease.
Yeah.
Because we've all been there. And we're helping you so that you don't end up in horseshoes that we once were. And I love dating myself as someone who's been single for a very long time. It's been a lot of fun just stepping out of my comfort zone, learning different things about myself, where different coffee shops that I love to go to, different books, different gyms, yoga studios, and that little bit of peace and quiet is something that is so needed.
Cherish it.
It is, whether it be just trying a new meditation, going to a sound bath, or just having my own self-care night.
Yeah.
And then going into that, so last year, this is something that I did that I still currently do. So when I was going through my ACL journey or my knee healing journey, I had to do a lot of self reflection and just continue to heal a lot of past trauma that I thought I had overcome, but there was just deeper layers to it. And one thing that I did was a self love challenge that every day I ask myself, what is it that I can do to choose me and to choose love? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do it for 30 days. And every day I chose a new practice, whether it be a meditation, a face mask, just sitting by myself for a few minutes, just anything that's going to bring the energy back to myself. So I did that for 30 days. However, I'd say about 9 months later, I still do it every single day. And I ask myself, what is it that I can do today to choose myself and to choose love? And this could be just from maybe just journaling, buying myself flowers, going to the food store just to pick up a few groceries, or it is doing a face mask. And every day it is something different, but it's something that is going to allow myself to release any stuck, stagnant energy, but also bring the energy back to myself.
Exactly. And then by bringing that energy back to yourself, you're allowing yourself to learn about yourself more, and then just, I feel like it also allows you to step into yourself more, which also you become more confident, which doesn't allow for so much pressure. You don't really fall into that pressure so much.
And with that being said, if you are choosing different practices, don't be afraid to cry.
Exactly.
Allow yourself to release those emotions. If you are journaling or just sitting in meditation, allow yourself to be, and you don't have to sit in it.
No.
Allow just that stuff to come up.
Let it release, and then fill your cup back up. And then another fun practice is somatic dancing. So, I mean, I dance, I ballroom dance. However, it's so different than somatic dancing. Somatic dance is put on a song and just let yourself just go. Let yourself dance or just move. It is freeing because you're letting all that stuck energy just move out of you, and sometimes you'll just start to smile, start to laugh at yourself.
Sometimes you cry.
Sometimes you cry. But you're allowing to be with yourself and just come back to yourself again.
And you feel so much better. It's something that I do. I haven't done it as often recently, but I would say in the winter I was doing it a lot more just because it was colder, wasn't getting outside as much. But it feels so good, especially if you are building up a lot of anger, a lot of tension. It is such a great release. And there has been so many times that I've cried. I've also looked stupid. Thankfully, I was by myself. But that's the beauty of it, just to have fun and just allow yourself to move without judgment.
Exactly. And then another tip is just remind yourself that you're on your own path, you're on your own journey, and just to accept where you are on that path and journey.
Because so many new doors are about to open. Let's not reflect back on the doors that have been closed, because they were closed for a reason. And there are so many new doors that are about to open for you.
Exactly. And then even if you have to put post-it notes all over your house or in your bathroom, that you are on the right path. You are just really doing it for you, and just reminders for yourself that you can read. Put a lock screen on your phone.
With a quote.
Yeah, any little thing like that, it helps. And who cares if people judge you for it, because it's helping you.
And it allows you to find happiness within yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, or if we have more, just don't forget to stay true to who you are. So important.
It is, especially from childhood. It's something that I would say is not necessarily learned. It's
People
not
don't
instilled.
people don't teach you these
They
things.
don't teach you these things, and this is because everyone's like, "Oh, stay true to yourself. Stay true to
But it's
yourself."
like when you're
How?
young, it's like how?
What does that
What
mean?
yeah, what your child, but it's like you want me to discover who I am, but it's like you want me to stay true to who I am. But how do I do that at the same time?
Where it's up to the parents to really allow the child to discover who they are without the pressure from society to be that perfect child or that perfect athlete, the perfect student, where allow the child to discover that maybe they like football and they don't like baseball, or they like figure skating and they don't like dance, or they're a great athlete and as a student their academics may, I wouldn't say lack, they're just,
Their strong suit is in the sports rather than in the schoolwork.
yes,
Yeah. And that's okay. Everyone has their strong
their strong
thing,
suit.
yeah.
And everyone's going to end up where they're meant to be in the right time and on their right path.
Exactly.
I think that wraps up today's episode.
So, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Soul Over It. We are your hosts, Taylor and Abby Scarpello. Join us weekly every Thursday for a dose of inspiration, empowerment, biohacking tips, and some exercise for the soul, right here on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And if you are listening on Apple, please don't forget to leave us a review.